What is the circle of fifths? Well, we know what a circle is, just in case I drew one out for you. But let's review the concept of a fifth. Sing and count with me. Do, re, mi, fa, so. And that is a fifth, going from do to so. So we started on C, do, re, mi, fa, so, and ended on G. And that is an interval of a fifth. Now this gets confusing as we move up the scale because a fifth interval consists of in this case, a very specific sequence of whole steps and half steps. Whole, whole, half, whole. So once you get up here, that no longer applies. If you're starting on B, then you get this funky sounding tritone. And that is not an interval of a fifth. Are you confused yet? The circle of fifths is just a sequence of fifth intervals stacked on top of each other. But let's look at that on the piano. Here's one interval of a fifth, going from C to G, then also from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, from G to D, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, D to A. Look at that on here, C to G, G to D, D to A, and the pattern continues. So because the circle of fifths is just a pattern, you don't really need to memorize everything, because all we're doing is stacking these fifth intervals on top of each other. But it's confusing because we don't really know what a fifth interval is. So here is a solution. Rather than counting to 5, count to 7. And in this case, each time you count, you're counting a half step. So we're starting here on C. 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 half steps in between this interval of a fifth. Let's try somewhere else. Let's try F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there is our slightly out of tune interval of a fifth. And we call it the circle of fifths because that's easier than saying the circle of notes that have 7 half steps in between each one of them. Here is what you're going to be doing for your assignment. Take a look at the circle of fifths and pretend that instead of key areas, so instead of the key of C, key of G, key of D, etc., etc., we have chords. So we have the C major chord, the G major chord, the D major chord, the E flat major chord. So for your assignment, you pick one chord. Let's pick the key of A. So if we're going up the scale in A major, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then A again. Each of those notes has a chord, major, minor, or diminished, that can be built off of that note. So A has A major, B has B minor. Major gets big Roman numerals, uppercase, minor gets lowercase. So we have this big 1 for major, little 2 for minor, little 3, which means C sharp minor, big 4, which means D major, put a pin in that, big 5, which means E major, put a pin in that, little 6, which means F sharp minor, diminished 7, and then we're back to A major. This is our 1 chord, Roman numeral 1. The chord to the left of A, or counterclockwise, is D chord, and that becomes Roman numeral 4. To the right, or clockwise, of A is E major. E major becomes our 5 chord. This is 1, this is 4, this is 5. More on all that later. All you need to know right now is that A, D, and E sound good together. And that's why they accompany Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So picture this. Mr. Cosgrove is playing a hillbilly song in the key of C, and then all of a sudden switches to G, and then goes back to C. So did we change keys entirely when we went from the C chord to the G chord? No, we just changed chords. We're still in the key of C, meaning we always want to go back to the C chord. So if we picked G as our 1 chord, then our 4 chord would become C, and our 5 chord would become D. Let's look at that on the piano. Here's G, our 1 chord. Our 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, becomes C, C major. 1 chord, 4 chord, G major, C major. Our 5 chord is D major. Singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, we have 1, 1, 1, 1, 4 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. So you can use these to build a song. If all of this so far has gone over your head, don't worry, it's going over my head too, and I'm the one talking. So, here are your big takeaways for this assignment. First big takeaway is that the circle of fifths is simply a pattern of fifth intervals stacked on top of each other. The second takeaway, an interval of a fifth, is 7 half steps apart. Third takeaway is that these Roman numerals correspond with the scale degrees. Please email me with any questions. You're loved. Have a great day.